Let's turn now to Chase Iron Eyes. He's an activist, attorney who has been camped out near the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Great to be on. Thank you.
So you've been on the ground for quite some time. What is the dynamic between Native Americans and the Army Corps of Engineers been like?
That's a long, controversial history, beginning in 1944 with the Flood Control Act, where they took illegally our shoreline and then flooded it about 14 years later in 1958 and destroyed our economic potential for a second time after the Buffalo. So we've had a storied and controversial relationship with the Army Corps of Engineers for a long time.
And what's it been like subsequent to this protest?
Well, right now, the Army Corps of Engineers has called upon the local law enforcement, highly militarized law enforcement, and forcible arrests have begun. There's a forcible removal going on right now as of maybe 4:30. A lot of people have not surrendered, and they are standing their ground in there defending the treaty rights and constitutional rights, not only of Native nations, but of all Americans who have had their constitutional rights violated on the ground out here.
And that leads to my next question, sir. Describe, because I don't know that a lot of people may be familiar with the treaties that exist between Native nations and the United States. Can you describe them for us, and what would you like to see change?
Yes, well, Native nations recognized we were the first that gave any sort of legitimacy to the presence of colonial European travelers who came into a hemisphere that we civilized. And so we recognized their sovereignty. They didn't recognize ours. But the land where the camp is today, where the fires are going, where the arrests are happening, that's land that is contested treaty territory that we've never been paid for. There's been no negotiations. We haven't treated for that. It's unclear title. And so we are asserting ourselves, as is our birthright, in that territory for the first time in 130 years. And now we're being pushed back to within the confines of the Indian reservation, where I am right now near the site of the arrests to spend some time with you.
In an article in GQ, you stated that the struggle is never ending. I'm curious how the battle has evolved with the use, for example, of social media and the thousands of protesters that are there on site.
Well, what I like to refer to everybody out there, we are the ghost dancers of the 21st century. We have in our toolbox, so to speak, the same language, the same digital tools, so that we can communicate across vast platforms. And Standing Rock has become an international spiritual monument, the epicenter of a spiritual awakening that is taking on big finance, too big to fail finance, and extraction. That's not to say anything of the military prison industrial complex or the like. And so things are different. It's a new day.
Chase Iron Eyes, thank you so much for sharing a bit of your struggle with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.